oftentimes when we are focused on being really perfect, we often have to put in this gargantuan, effort, whether it's you want to have the perfect workout, you want to have the perfect meal plan. Understand that if you truly want a quote unquote perfect product, or you want to, operate at your best, or a lot of perfectionists will lie to themselves and say, oh, I'm just a person with high standards. If you really wanted excellence, you would actually get started right now. You would allow it to be perfected over time. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things, but I wouldn't be able to wear all the hats and do all the things if I was still stuck in perfectionism, which is what we are going to talk about in this video. So I definitely can admit, I raised my hand. I am definitely a recovering perfectionist, and I know many of you are current perfectionists, and it's so important that if you want to make progress, not just in your business, but in your personal life, that you learn to let perfectionism go. So if you find that you're paralyzed by perfectionism and you're like, oh my goodness, anytime I come up with an idea or I think about a business or even social media content that I want to create or anything, I find myself trapped in fear that it's not good enough. I'm constantly second guessing myself. How do I move past this? You are in luck, because we're going to talk about that in this video right now. All right, the first thing that really helped me shift my mindset and break out of perfectionism was when I realized that actually, factually, perfection is a process, not a product. So what I mean by that is when we even use the term, to perfect something, right? You think about maybe there's a secret recipe, your great granny's sweet potato pies or mac and cheese or something that has been passed down from all the women in your family over generations. It has been perfected, but what? Perfected over time. When your granny first started with the mac and cheese, it was probably good to start, but it wasn't perfected, and it certainly wasn't perfect. And then maybe your mother took it on, and then now you're adding your flavor to it, right? It's a process where we're tweaking as we go. So many people waste so much time and they waste so many opportunities because they have the false belief that perfection is even possible, especially from the outset. To start, perfection is never possible. And even if it is possible, you and I will never be able to, be ultimately perfect in the work that we do, because we're not perfect human beings. So we're not capable of actually creating perfect products, perfect programs, perfect anything. So once you come to terms with that, it makes it easier to let that go. But when you understand the real definition of what it means to perfect something, it means to improve something over time. It's actually not a product, it is a process. So if you were a true perfectionist, you would actually get started right now, and then you would tweak it and iterate it as it goes along, allowing it to get better and better. I think about, say, the iPhone. The iPhone has been around for, goodness, I don't know how long, maybe 13 years as of this recording. When I think about the first iPhone, the iPhone 1, if that's what it was even called at that time, all the features that it didn't have, I'm sure that phone was much slower than the phones that we are used to using right now. Imagine if Steve Jobs was like, nope, we can't release this until that iPhone is of the same quality of the iPhones that we now have as of this recording. I forget what it's on. I think it's like iPhone 14 or something, with the crazy cameras and the cinematic mode and all these amazing things. We literally would not have that iPhone if we waited to produce that level of quality in the first iPhone. So understand that if you truly want a quote unquote perfect product, or you want to, operate at your best, or a lot of perfectionists will lie to themselves and say, oh, I'm just a person with high standards. I just want excellence. If you really wanted excellence, you would actually get started right now and allow that product, your program, your business, whatever it is that you're creating, you would allow it to be perfected over time, because perfectionism is actually a process, not a product. And going along those lines, the second thing that we need to keep in mind is that you can maintain your standard no matter what. So I think this is another false thing that a lot of perfectionists say. They talk about, oh, I have a high standard. I like to operate in excellence. I have a high standard and I like to operate in excellence as well. But again, I noticed that perfectionism is really focused on the end result, the product, and not what is going into it, right? So the process of perfecting is something that happens over time. Well, likewise, maintaining a standard is about your effort, where perfectionism is about, okay, what is the actual outcome? And it doesn't matter anyway, because no outcome is ever going to be perfect. Now, if you believe that you have a high standard, what that means is that you can give your your best in terms of your effort, even if the end result is not something that's going to be perfect. And so a good example that I think is very evident here on this channel are my own YouTube videos. So I've been on YouTube since 2007, when I was, I want to say, a sophomore in college. I originally had this channel all around hair care because my first business that I ever tried to start was a hair care business. But then I later transitioned into personal development after blogging on personal development and getting into the coaching world and building a brand in that arena. And so if you look at the quality of my videos over the years, I have always maintained my standard, even when I was not able to produce at the level that I'm able to produce now. I've always given it my best. I've always tried to operate in excellence, and I've always done the best with what I have. So even if you look at those crazy hair care videos that I had back in the day, I was using the best camera that I could afford back then. I remember, asking my parents for cameras for Christmas gifts. This was before cameras on your phone were even like worth their salt. So you really needed a specific camera in order to do videos. Now your iPhone or your Samsung phone is so good that you can just use the camera on your phone. But even as recently as 2020, my videos have drastically improved. But even back then, I was still maintaining my standard of excellence. I said, okay, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna make this lighting look as good as I can to the best of my ability. I'm gonna make my hair look as good to the best of my ability, my makeup, my clothing. I'm gonna talk about subjects and really share them to the best of my ability. So I have always done my best. My best has just gotten better over time. In fact, my best has just gotten perfected. And so many perfectionists miss out on that opportunity because they have it backwards. They think that they have to do what is perfect from the outside when that is not true. You need to do your best and understand that in the action of doing your best is actually gonna get better because you're gonna be challenging yourself and learning new things and developing new skill sets as you continue to perfect your process over time. All right, and the third thing that I did that really helped me overcome paralysis by perfection was that I traded perfectionism for consistency. I am on a consistency kick right now because I see how powerful it is in my life. In fact, I love consistency more than perfectionism because it's actually easier to do. It actually takes less effort. Oftentimes when we are focused on being really perfect, we often have to put in this gargantuan, effort, whether it's you wanna have the perfect workout, you wanna have the perfect meal plans, you wanna have the perfect videos, the perfect business. You're putting a lot of effort in up front in order to try to create a so-called perfect outcome. But I find that by focusing on consistency, I can actually put a smaller effort up front, still my best effort, but I can actually put a smaller effort. But because I'm doing that effort over time, repeatedly, I'm able to get an exponential result. So a great example that I like to use is working out. There are many days that I can't work out for a really long time. I rarely ever work out longer than 45 minutes. Usually 30 minutes is my sweet spot. But sometimes I have very, very busy days where I have a Peloton bike at home. I literally will queue up a 10-minute, Peloton workout, and that's the only workout that I will do for the day. Now, is that 10-minute, workout perfect? No, but I make sure that even if I'm just giving it 10 minutes, I'm doing my best. But what I've noticed is I've gotten better results by doing that, where making sure that I'm not missing a day working out, even if I have to drop my effort down to 10 minutes, but that 10 minutes compounds, and over time, I'm getting better fitness and health results than if I said, oh no, I'm only gonna work out when I have perfect conditions and when I can do a perfect 1 hour workout. I might work out once a month if that were the case. So, one monthly perfect workout pales into comparison the results that you're gonna get from, 10-minute imperfect workouts, but done every single day. So consistency is beautiful because it really creates this compounding effect. It really creates this exponential growth, and you are really forfeiting the opportunity to experience exponential success when you are so focused on perfectionism, because perfectionism robs you of your time. And so that exponential success happens over time, but every action that you take has to compound together. So trust me when I say this, perfectionism isn't as amazing as you think it is. It isn't the excellence that you think it is. It's really, I find, very fear-based, based on insecurity around whether the work that you're doing is actually good enough. And so if you find yourself really struggling with perfectionism, the last thing that I would say you really need to focus on is really getting clear on your own value. When you recognize that what you have to offer is actually valuable in the world, that you are worthy as a person, and any work that you create, even if it's not perfect, is still good in the world and it can help people and it's worthy, to be out there, you will find that it's a lot easier to just, push the work out there and just get it done, even if it's not perfect from the outset. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you really struggle with coming up with the perfect niche, and hopefully you know by now that there is no such thing as a perfect niche, I invite you to join me on my free 5-day Nail Your Niche Challenge. This is gonna help you identify the best niche for you based on your story, your skill set, and your expertise, and free you from the perfectionism of spinning your wheels, always wondering if you are choosing the perfect niche for your business. So it's free for a limited time. I can't promise that it's going to be free forever, but if you click the link below right now and you see an opportunity to sign up for the next upcoming challenge, make sure that you do so. So just click the link below to sign up for my Nail Your Niche Challenge now. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you loved it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want even more where this came from, make sure you are subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next video or my next podcast episode, make sure you are following me on Instagram. It's CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.